Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. So, guys, welcome everybody to listening to our second episode of Streamer in the Spotlight. So, as you can all see, we have got the amazing P0larVortex. He is Twitch's Agent 47. He is also sharing my job of Jason Statham's body double. Incredible streamer, guys. He's just come off the 24-hour stream as well. So we're very, very lucky to have him here, guys. So everybody say hello to P0larVortex.
You got to be your own biggest hype person, you know?
Absolutely.
So we're going to find out everything about you today, P0larVortex. Everything about your streaming life, your personal life. So quick fire questions. Last episode, we obviously had the commentator guy, which obviously you know as well personally as well. Fantastic stream as well. And he's already here as well. So guys, we're going to crack on. So I've done the draw. I've got a little secret draw that people can see me. Vin, you are kickstarting us today with the first question for him. So Vin, take it away. Interrogate the guy.
Am I unmuted now then? Because I was muted.
Yes.
yes, you are, Vin.
So, welcome, P0lar.
Thank you. Thank you, Vin.
Thanks for joining us. And let us know who you are, where we can find you, and what streaming platform you prefer and use.
Yeah, absolutely. So, currently mainly on Twitch, twitch.tv/P0larVortex. In my streaming time, I've also dabbled with YouTube, posted it on different social medias, the Hovers, the TikToks, the YouTubes. I personally found Twitch to be a really awesome streaming platform. I think it provides the best balance for a creator of my style, I would think. I think that there's some really great benefits of each platform, but yeah, Twitch is where I'm at. And it's where the majority of my content will continue to be. Although I have aspirations to do more varied content on YouTube and other platforms, things like that.
Also streaming, or is that more? Because you say other sort of content.
Yeah, so more like gaming specific podcast type content as well. So I really love that this podcast and this platform that you all are doing. I think it's really, really awesome. I think mine would be more gaming tech related. And it would be more of a solo endeavor with, feedback from community and stuff like that, but not so much an interview style. So I think that's more the YouTube content, but not necessarily live streaming it.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
It does.
So more like pre-recorded and then gaming news related or something, or?
Yeah, gaming opinions and news, but gaming opinions focused on most recent topics and news in the gaming industry, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's good idea. I did a podcast like that.
Okay, fair enough.
We're starting from another podcast for that. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
I know. You just pay more, so.
Oh, do I? Pinky, quick. Ask the next question. Let's get away from this.
Hey, he's being paid.
No.
Yes.
Who's making money in this? It's not me. No.
I was about to say, I have to remember this for next time.
Now, Fleety is 2022. You know that women have equal rights now. You have to pay her as well. Come on.
Okay, and on another topic of conversation there. What made you start streaming?
So the first stream I probably ever saw was Amaranth, and it was back when she did Just Dance. I had a friend that was great reason to start, right?
Yeah. I did a hot tub because
I love that. Straight from the bat, he has name dropped Amaranth. Fair play to him.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this, some pub, and I hear Amaranth does that. So no, I had a friend who was really big into streaming. They liked Amaranth. They liked a few like gaming streamers as well. They liked Amaranth because they did Just Dancing. So their intentions, I don't know what they did in their private home while watching it. But regardless, back then it was just dancing. It was just dancing, workout videos, things like that. But I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I wasn't too into it. But one day we were just playing COD on Xbox. We were just playing COD multiplayer. It was like a double XP weekend going into it. We were playing Modern Warfare, and they went live on Twitch just through the Xbox app, through the Twitch Xbox app. They're like, oh, give it a go, mate. What's the worst that can happen? I was like, oh, okay, sure. So I turned on stream for 10 hours that day. I had one. So it was me, myself, meaning like one of my devices, him. And then I had one unique viewer that I didn't actually know ahead of time. And and I think it ended up being somebody that they knew. But they came in, they tried to give me some advice, like, hey, maybe if you want to do this affiliate thing, maybe you should. And I was like, what's affiliate? I don't even know what this is. Like, I'm just doing this for the fun. But that engagement and meeting somebody online while playing a game was priceless. And I was hooked ever since. After that, like a week or two in, I was like, I'm buying everything. I need a webcam. I need lights. I need a camera. I need a microphone. All these things. So so since then I was hooked.
But
How
do
long
you
ago was
live
this?
off streaming now?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Vin. You said, do I live off streaming? Like, is that my only form of income?
Yeah.
So there was a time. So I previously streamed as a different persona per se. It's same me, but different persona. I was Hopeful Opus when I started streaming. Did that for about a year and a half. I'd say a year of consistency. But it's funny because a few months into streaming, I started July 2020. Pandemic times, experienced a pretty good amount of growth. I would say I was probably like 500 followers within like by September, October. So about
wow.
4 or
That's
5 months.
incredible.
Yeah.
And felt like my subs and things were trending in the right direction. Not sustainable, but I quit my job. I was an HR manager, quit my job, and was like, I'm going full in on this. I love this. I have a passion for this. And of course, growth is really, really awesome, but it's also hard to project that it will continue on the same path. And you can become complacent in what you do and not evolve to the industry, to the game, or so it was. But I took out everything. I've talked about this before, just how much I've invested in Twitch, both in supporting others, but also in just equipment and different things to try out and so on and so forth. My thing back then was I was going to be in everybody's stream, like supporting them, not promoting myself, supporting them. I was going to be a community first streamer. So I was a full-time streamer, but spent more time in people's streams. The irony of that, it doesn't work out monetarily when you do that. It doesn't. And so I didn't want to sacrifice that. But yeah, so there was about a year where I did streaming along with like other freelance stuff like DoorDash, like food delivery type stuff that like Uber Eats or it's more common there. So I did a combination of those things. Currently, I'm kind of in limbo, trying to make a career change, but ultimately, so streaming currently technically is my only form of income, but kind of looking to make a career change. Long term though, would love to see content creation be my full-time thing.
So how many hours a day did you stream when you did it full time? Like
so I streamed 7 days a week, probably 4 to 5 hours a day. But I was spending at least 12 hours on Twitch. But what I wasn't doing, the mistakes I made, I wasn't investing time into improvements in my stream. I was spending literally the rest of the day supporting other people. So I would spend another 8 hours a day watching other people, supporting them, trying to foster this positive community and things like that. But yeah, I would do it 7 days a week. So I'm a habit person or a routine person. So for me, that routine was helpful, whereas I know some people are like, take a day off, take a break. That just wasn't my style at the time.
But now it is.
Yeah, now I think I enjoy some balance. Now having a son and stuff, and just not being practical all the time, definitely changed things.
Yeah.
That's a really good segue to jump into. Parker.
Yeah, my son Parker. He's an awesome little guy. He's like 7 weeks old. Definitely.
Oh, congrats on the birth then.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. So it's been a really, really awesome experience so far. Been stressful. I don't know if I was a natural born dad per se, but it's they didn't come with instructions.
Not any man is natural born dad.
When the paternal instincts kick in, mate, don't you worry.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Yeah, so it's been a good ride. Stressful at times. The worst thing is like a baby crying and you don't know what it wants. Like, you're like, oh, here's the food. Here's the free or clean diaper after I just got poo all over my hands. Here's here's this and that. Like, baby, be happy now. And it's like you try to out scream your baby, like ah.
But did you know that they when they cry sometimes and there's no tears, it's actually training their I say voice?
The vocal cords.
The vocal cords, did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
It's actually, if there's no tears, they're not really crying, they're just training their vocal cords to make sounds.
Well, I feel like they are going to be an opera singer at this rate then. That's good to know.
It took me, I learned it about a couple of months back. So it was, my oldest one is 10. So I'm also about 10 and a half years late.
Good to know.
Wow, 7 weeks. 7 weeks. I remember when that was being announced. Wow, it's gone so quickly.
It's
So
Yeah.
It really has.
Fleety, 7 weeks, and it's bigger than you already.
Yeah. Has more hair and everything from the start.
I love that.
I love
I'm
it.
forgetting on a joke. I love it.
That's fantastic.
I'm sorry. That's enough for me today. Sorry.
You started on me already. Pinky, let's keep going. Let's find out more.
Yeah,
Let's
no
find out
problem
more.
at all. So, going back to streaming slightly, what was the best achievement you've had to date streaming wise that you think is your best achievement?
Yeah, so I would say for me, the charity streams that we've done, I mainly did these as Hopeful. I did one for Project Hope and Ukraine as Polar, raised a few $100s for that. But we did once like a 24 that turned into like a 28-hour charity stream for Parkinson's Foundation, raised like 14 or 1,500 US dollars.
Wow, amazing.
Nice, well done.
Yeah, thank you. Across the Hopeful and Polar days, I would say we've done maybe 5 charity streams and raised about $3,000. I would say across all of them.
damn.
So
Impressive.
That's really
Brilliant.
good.
Yeah.
Really good.
yeah. So supporting causes, and the causes we've supported have been about like mental health and personal wellness and things like that. We've done one regarding cancer. Parkinson's Foundation. We had a good friend at the time who had a family member going through suffering from Parkinson's and kind of battling that. And then the Project Hope, obviously, the stuff with Ukraine. Not to be political, but just trying to help people in need. So
Yeah, that's a really
yeah.
good thing to do. With mental health, I know that's something that's very close to your heart because even
Yeah.
the few times I've managed to actually catch your streams because of the time differences, I've seen it a lot. You exude positivity and you're regularly encouraging good mental health practices. Is this something that is has affected you personally, or is this something that has affected someone nearby?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So mental health is something I've seen others have challenges with, and it's something that I was not like proactive in getting help with. There were signs like I can look back to my teenage years of me dealing with anxiety and depression and pretty severe stuff. And the way I lash out and reacted to things in certain situations, I let things kind of control my behaviors and my attitudes. So it was until I was an HR manager maybe 5 years ago or so that I was like, I've like hit my wit's end. I've got so much stress. I feel so anxious. I feel so nervous. I feel this constant this like fire in my chest sort of thing. At that point, I decided to seek professional help through my physician. I wish I would have at that time even sought further help from maybe a more specialized person because they kind of just prescribe medication, which is cool.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, but I used a medication called Lexapro, or generic for Lexapro. A pretty well-known anxiety, depression medication. Has its pros and cons. Something I decided ultimately wasn't for me, but I still take medication to kind of help ease my anxiety. But also have tried therapy, online therapy options. Something that's very, very near and dear to my heart. So yeah,
that's a very good message to
share. I'm
share.
going to interject here because I was saying, obviously, for me, mental health is a massive thing as well. But I don't know if you agree with this. This is the reason for the question. Since I've been streaming, you notice how more common it is because people are now actively talking a bit. I mean, you're not talking face to face, of course, but when you're still streaming, when you're still communicating, people are more open to talk about their mental health. And I think for me personally, streaming has been a godsend in the fact that people can relate to you and you can relate to them. But everyone's obviously slightly different. But being able to talk about it is the biggest thing, especially not to be sexist here, Pinky's already say, but it's a real common thing with men at the moment where we're trying to get men to stand up and talk more. You know, it's not macho. You don't need to be macho about it. There's no harm in talking about it. Would you agree that in terms of mental health and online, it's a much bigger world now and it's more open, it's better?
Yeah, I generally think it's continuing to trend in a positive direction. I think that there's always more work we can do and always things we can do. One of the just on the topic of mental health, I had an incident kind of a few weeks ago. I've had this happen a couple times. So it's streaming provides a unique platform in the sense that you can be more open, right? Because ultimately, I don't see you face to face aside from this conversation, right? But you don't work with me at my job, so you may not have a stigma that affects my job performance, my career, if I'm working in like a traditional office setting and things. Because anytime I've opened up and been transparent in the workplace, and I'm a very honest or like a very forthcoming person, I find direct communication to be my best style of communication. I have maybe not been told that was inappropriate, but have not been like valued in that conversation. I felt, but in streaming, I've met a lot of like-minded people that are going through similar struggles. The challenge I think with streaming is though sometimes people can like trauma dump in the stream.
Yeah.
So it's a really awesome thing to have a conversation.
Trauma dump?
Yeah, trauma dump. So then to elaborate, I guess, on that, my experience with that has been like they're in a really bad situation that's violent or for them, unhealthy for them, whether it be a physical thing, whether it be a just a mental situation, which also provides physical dangers and things like that. That's then one of the most challenging things that really like disturbs me to the core is knowing that I can't help somebody because we are not in proximity of one another.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
meaning somebody, somebody's in an abusive situation, physically, mentally, and all I can do is refer people to authorities. But if it's the worst feeling if somebody comes in and says, I'm in a really dangerous situation, and they elaborate on it, and knowing that you can't do anything. So now, like, I have a mental health command, and it's not much I can do, but it's just exclamation mark MH, right?
Yeah.
And it just says like the UK suicide prevention line, the US suicide prevention line. I know some people feel like it's not the most effective, but there's not a whole lot more I can do. I can always offer conversations offline. I'm not a mental health professional, but I'm certainly somebody that cares about that. So it's a two-way street to answer your question, Fleety. I think it's continuing to improve. I didn't mean to elaborate in a different direction.
No, that's what I asked.
It opens up a very good conversation there because it's not something that's openly discussed, even though it is, if that makes sense. It's discussed in like the basic terms. Like we'll talk about our own personal thing, but we don't talk about the effect that opening up has on the person who receives the trauma dump, as you mentioned. How do you find you handle that? Because I know me personally, I like you, I want to help as many people as possible. But when you get a lot of people coming to you as a streamer, as a person of comfort, they come to you, they'll unload on you, and then you have to deal with that. How do you find it?
Yeah, generally I try to redirect. Now that I use the mental health command, and I've encouraged mods or other community members to try to share in helping to encourage people to have the strength, because seeking professional help, I think it's easier because we feel more open and candid in chats to allow ourselves to share really traumatizing experiences. But it's really hard to take that first step. So I'm trying as a community to refocus them on seeking professional help, letting them know that we are here. We're not dismissing their concerns. The day that most recently happened to me, I just ended stream. I was like, hey, what's most important is all of your health. I couldn't refocus. I honestly couldn't. I was just like, I was done. But from there, I was like, okay, what can we do going forward? The best approach, doing the mental health command, trying to encourage the community to rally around the person, let them know that we're here, not dismiss them, but also being available is a thing. It's just at some point you have to draw the line of how much can I emotionally take on dealing with my own mental health issues. We can have a productive chat and conversation, but how much there's a line in which professional help may be needed. And maybe that's where I should redirect in sometimes, because I've tried to be the person that takes all that on. I've been in those conversations where people talk about, more severe self-harm and things. And it's one of the most helpless feelings you can have. And it's not because I selfishly don't want to experience that. It's because ultimately I want them to seek the best help for them.
Yeah.
I respect that. A lot of respect on that. It is difficult, mate. And I think the way that you've handled it and the way you just talked about it is absolutely fantastic, mate. I think that's brilliant. Really, really good. Vin, do you want to ask a question, mate? You're welcome to change the subject, or if you want to keep going on about it, it's up to you.
Well, no, it's this is different for me. Normally it's all fun and a bit of bullying. This is getting a bit serious. So I was just like, okay, Finn, just shut your fucking mouth and we'll see.
Look, that's the thing, though, Vin. That's where I think the other thing. I'm glad you mentioned that, and P0lar, you probably may disagree with this, but I think the other thing as well. Mental health is a serious thing, of course it is. But I think a lot of people forget about the word fun sometimes, especially with streaming. In terms of like trying to have fun, have you had instances where you've triggered someone incorrectly and it's got very toxic in your chat? And how did you deal with that? If you've encountered it, of course.
Hopefully you haven't.
Yeah, no, I think that sometimes there's like as you continue to grow and build a community, the cool thing about it is you continue to get people from different perspectives, life experiences. So I try to be very thoughtful, like in my communication. I make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes,
Yeah.
but there's certain topics that come up, and I'm like, oh no, here we go. Because you just never know what people's experiences are.
Yeah.
I always do try to be chat focused. I'm a very chat and community focused streamer. I'll never be the best game player, but I can chat my head off. Someone asked me,
why are you not the best game player then?
I've never. Well, then I just got to get good. I think that's what the kids say. I just got to get good.
Yeah, GG
Yeah,
for get
GG.
good.
Yeah, get good. So, yeah, I've been a variety person most of my life. Like I like sports games, I like FPSs and things like that. We may talk about the kinds of games that we like and stuff later, but I've never just honed in like and just played one game. So I think that lends to it, but also just probably hand-eye coordination and the lack of
These are my excuses. Look at that. You come off my hymn sheet here, mate, because you're getting the right excuses.
It's time for a new feature age. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Love it. Peaky, let's go. Let's take Polar back to his school years. Let's go there. Let's meet baby Polar. Let's ask some questions.
So
how does a baby go to school?
Okay, younger Polar then. How about we go with that? Teenage Polar. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
So this one is usually a very
Sorry,
it's all right.
it's a very tentative subject. So again, feel free to disclose as much or as little as you like.
Yeah.
But schooling years are obviously very formative for people. So we're going to ask you a few questions about it.
All right.
The first question is obviously quite generically, how did you find your school years? Did you find them quite fun? Are they difficult? Were they a mixture of both? How did you find it?
I would say very early on, I did really well in school. I was very driven, like in like primary, what people in the UK and Europe may call primary school. Here it's like elementary school. Before you go into middle school, had really positive things. But honestly, not to go too much more back into a mental health and serious nature, but I think I really started to deal with anxiety, depression more so. My dogs are saying hello to the stream. I apologize.
No problem.
Hello, doggo. Hello, doggo.
Yeah, so I've got 4 dogs, big dog lovers. So
4 dogs?
Yeah, 4 dogs.
Ooh, wow.
So
Big ones.
no, pretty like small, medium size. So but they like to make their voice known. So it's
they're also streamers.
yeah, co-streamers. Trying to train them and Parker to so I can retire someday. So but ultimately I found primary school to be, or like elementary school or primary school, however you want to call it, to be a pretty good experience. Made many lifelong friends that I still talk to today, 25 plus years now.
That's really good.
Some of my best friends from like my first encounters in primary school. So middle school, high school, really tough for me. And I think it, not to get too serious again, but a lot of it had to do with mental health, depression, anxiety, and kind of my relationship with my father, and not having a strong male figure after I had an uncle that was kind of a father figure to me. He passed away when I was like 11. After that, I lost a lot of structure in my life, and school became a less enjoyable experience. So something that not everyone knows about me, back in high school, I went to like a traditional school, which is like a more structured school. It's supposed to help better prepare you for college here, for what some people call secondary school, later stages of secondary school in the UK and Europe. I did that for a year, and then I was dating this girl. I was crazy about this girl, and she was crazy. So I was crazy about a girl that was crazy, and I don't say that in like a light note, honestly, just making fun of it. But anyways, I ended up doing independent study the rest of my high school before going to university and studying for my bachelor's and master's degree. So, but yeah, middle school, high school, very tough. I didn't have the traditional experience of prom or things that like people in the US really value, or a traditional high school graduation. But yeah, so it was an up and down. It was a roller coaster.
Yeah,
for sure.
So you mentioned that you went on to a bachelor's degree. What did you do that in?
Yeah, so my bachelor's and master's degree in communication. So My main focus was in like broadcasting potentially or so I had a few different interests. There was HR, there was broadcasting, marketing type broadcasting, marketing, like PR type stuff. And then my passion really was intercultural communication. So while I was in school, took the opportunity while I was in university for my bachelor's and master's degree, took the opportunity to teach in like Botswana, in Africa,
Oh wow.
Croatia, Trinidad and Tobago, and Belize, and those were the best experiences of my life. Truly.
Oh, you've been to
Amazing.
Croatia?
Yeah. I went to stayed in Sisak, spent some time in Zagreb, and
That
Zagreb,
country is so
incredible.
beautiful, huh?
Yeah, it's one of the best places I've ever visited, for sure.
Nice.
But,
That's
yeah, really
incredible.
enjoyed the teaching, and it's a good time.
So what made you want to do that experience? Because obviously it's one hell of a journey to travel to all those places. Was it something that was sort of offered as part of the course, or did you just go off your own back to get that?
Yeah, so we had to pay for it. It was part of a course. So a course would kind of coincide with it, where you built the programming that you taught while you were over there. It was an interdisciplinary approach. So my group was the communications group. We would maybe talk about public speaking, or various other communication topics. And but I met a professor. I was taking in a global like environmental class, like a environmental well-being class, environmental sustainability or something like that, or global sustainability, I think was the name of the course. And I met a professor, extremely influential. She was a very big part of this program, and she's like, "Hey, I think you may like this, based on the way you talk in class and things like that." And I was like, "Oh, which one do you recommend?" Because I was like, "Oh, I would probably only ever be able to do one of these things." I took out loans. I did all of them. After I did one, I was like, "This is incredible."
Amazing.
And
Amazing. Got the first.
yeah, it was awesome.
Incredible. That is really, really cool. Wow, so you set up your streaming career already from your school years. Public speaking, communication, broadcasting. You were ready for this. You were born for this, mate. You set this all up.
And you have a radio voice.
Oh
There you
yeah,
go.
thank you. The dulcet
Yeah.
tones. No, yeah.
Like
I
this
like
newsreader stuff, You have this voice from like. I say that like a newsreader on the on the Dutch
right.
radio.
Yeah,
you said
I
right.
appreciate that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Give me a job, mate, and I'm there. I'm
So-
there.
Fantastic.
I do want to ask a question about the again going back to the countries that you visited. Which of those was your favourites? Oh, if you can't pick one that was your favourite, what was your favourite experience out of them?
I would say the experience in Botswana was really, really an incredible experience. It was the first place I went, but it was an incredible journey to get there. It was like an 18, 19-hour flight, or I think it was like a 17, 18-hour flight, excuse me, to get there due to tailwinds or, the world or something like that. And then like 16 on the way back. But the passion that the students there had for like just to seek knowledge is something I've never seen anywhere else. Truly. Like, I think we're all eager to learn. Right. But in Botswana, when we taught it in the schools, if a teacher was absent, the students would like go through the books that they had, and they would get up on the white or like on the chalkboard, and they would write things, and they would try to teach each other. And after school every day, they spent 2 hours still on school property, but they could be outside doing whatever, just studying.
That's amazing.
Wow.
It was the drive and passion those people had to get out of. I taught in a small village called Molipololi, and it's pretty close to Gaborone, which is Botswana's capital. But we taught a public speaking course. We talked about Martin Luther King Jr., who's a big figure in U.S. history, and his "I Have a Dream" speech, right?
Yeah.
And we allowed these kids to do this public speaking piece of it, and get up and share what they had presented based on like the short little training thing we had done with them. And there was a kid that got up and said, they tried to structure this speech very similar to Martin Luther King's speech. And they're like, "I have a dream one day I'll be off the streets and I don't have to search for Coke cans to recycle, and that my family will be in a better situation." And I'll never forget that. Never forget that.
No.
Such a change from one culture to the next. Like such a
Yeah.
something that we'd never consider having to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. The kids there were in their finest of like clothes. Like to teach there, we had to teach in a full suit and everything in 90s, but would be like high 30s Celsius. But they would be in full on sweaters, and even if their clothes maybe have had a hole in it or anything, they took great pride in themselves. and yeah, it's really an incredible experience.
I love that. Absolutely love it. That's a great story. It's a really good story.
It's going to be hard to top it, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what. I'll change the topic here. This one, Vin will be joining in this one. Sports. You said you play sports games, so we're going to go sports now.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's see it. What is your number one sport, or what are your sports that you enjoy?
Well, let me get it out of the way. Okay, I know this is, UK, Europe friends.
Football, soccer.
We know where this is going.
Let's be honest. There's one football.
Yeah,
right.
One football, and it is
Round.
and you kick it with your feet. With your feet.
No, I mean you punt the football, the American football too. But no, in all seriousness, I love American football, and I like watching it. I never played it as a kid. I always wanted to play it. My mom was like, "No, you can't do that because people get hurt and stuff." But and I did have a bad back and stuff. But as a kid, I played basketball, baseball, love those.
Okay, yeah.
But now what I watch the most of is probably American football and just basketball, not American basketball, just basketball. So yeah,
So like the NBA or the NCAA?
NBA. I live in a big college city.
Okay.
So we don't have a pro team where I live. So the NCAA, to Vince's point, or the college basketball and football, very involved in those as well.
Yeah.
One of those games and stuff.
Because they're also on TV in America, right? The NCAA.
They also do what? I'm sorry, Vin.
On television, you can also broadcast it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they
that's cool about America.
Big.
Yeah.
They are. College athletics is a big money maker here in the U.S.
Yeah.
They just allowed college athletes to start being paid for their likeness and stuff while they're in college, which was something before that took them out of what they considered being an amateur. But it's a really positive thing because these people make millions of dollars, not individually, but they bring in so much money to the schools, those top athletes, because again, like Vin said, it's such a big thing on television.
Yeah.
It makes millions and millions of dollars in TV contracts for these schools. So
everything in America is big money. I mean, that halftime show with Eminem and Dr. Dre and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. It was
Sadie in the chat's asked an awesome question about this.
And to be fair, Taylor's also got another one too as well. So we'll ask those two. Yeah.
The one question that I've noticed is, I'm going to just elaborate a bit more. Favorite NFL team, favorite baseball team, and obviously your favorite NBA team. This is what we got here.
And least. So... Let's go with the least favorite too. Grace and controversy.
Let's
the worst is Tottenham.
Oh, for goodness sake. Leave it out, Ben.
So favorite American football team, I would say, or like NFL team, I would say is probably the Bengals. Still, they broke my heart this year. They made it to the Super Bowl. I disowned them this year. I was like, I'm done. I've had enough. You all sucked so long. And I made this public stand. I'm not gonna like them anymore. And then they go out and make it to the Super Bowl. Best year they've ever had. So.
Maybe you should try that, Fleety.
Yeah. Just disown them, Fleety.
Leave my football team, soccer team alone.
Yeah.
No, so basketball.
Basketball, I would say the Celtics or the Mavericks. I really like Luka Doncic. He's kind of an international star, but he's a really incredible player. He played for Real Madrid before coming over to the States. And then baseball, I would say the Yankees. Probably growing up.
Yeah.
Big Derek Jeter fan. I don't know if you all know him, but he was a really big baseball player, kind of a Hall of Fame player, and somebody that I looked up to a lot. I always liked the way he conducted himself, like on the field and off the field as well.
I don't know. I don't really watch them anymore. But when I was younger, I had the Sega Dreamcast. And you had this series of games. NBA 2K. Yeah, 2K. It was 2K. Yeah, NBA 2K, 2K1, the older ones. And MLB 2K. Those games were amazing.
Yeah,
and that's when I started loving the American sports. I'm not really watching it. We have the Super Bowl on TV here as well, like the big ones. But it's some American sports are brilliant.
Yeah, yes they are.
Yeah. The sports games, especially in the early 2000s, early to mid like 2004 to like 2007, like pinnacle of sports games. And that was when there was competition before like EA and 2K bought separate rights to some of the properties. So there was a truly diverse marketplace, different offerings, but a lot of competition that I think really delivered some excellent games back then.
I wanted to try and get Taylor's question in while we got a moment. What was your first memory of the NFL?
First memory of the NFL, that's a good question. I would say like the 1998 or 99. I'm really bad at remembering years and what Super Bowl it was, but it was the Packers versus the Broncos, I believe. And I was a big fan. I wasn't a big fan of Brett Favre. There's certain sports figures I didn't like for whatever reason. I just was like, I don't like this guy. And I knew nothing about it. I didn't look into their backstory. It wasn't a world of social media where you knew a lot about their personal life, right? It's a lot different now that you see the person behind the performance, right? Or the sport. But
and all they are all trained now, right? Because back in the days, like what you say, the early 2000s and stuff, they hadn't have professional training for camera types or interviews, right? So what you saw was more real. Today it's all so how you say it, made in scene, scripted, and that's something that you can, all the social media is fine, but even that is all scripted. Go stand there, make a picture, do it like that. Do it for the fans, do it for them. But it's every interview is the same these days. I like the old days, when the people were actually themselves, and that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, sorry about that. So, yeah, John Elway and Terrell Davis were some of my favorite players. They played for the Denver Broncos back then. That's my earliest memory. Them winning a Super Bowl. It was near the end of John Elway's career. I read a book by Terrell Davis, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And he's like a really awesome running back. So those are some of my first memories, I guess, in the NFL. I was probably like 8, 9 or so at the time.
Been a fan for a long time then.
Yeah. I always had it on the background, but those were really the years I began to care, even before I really knew what was going on, to be honest. But it was cool.
That makes sense. We've had another question from chat. If you have one, do you have a favorite soccer team?
Yeah, so I was, to be honest, this is tough to say because I know there's so many Liverpool fans that I've encountered through Twitch, and given the recent events of the finals and whatnot, I was actually a big Real Madrid fan, mainly because of Ronaldo. I was just amazed by Ronaldo. There's debates, about
the old one or the latest one, Cristiano or the
Cristiano
the
Ronaldo.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, so Cristiano Ronaldo just amazed me. Like, I have a good friend who's like a huge fan of him, and when I started watching him, of course, Messi, incredible, Neymar. There's loads of great players. Baptiste. There's so many great players, but ultimately, I just love Ronaldo. So when I played FIFA or whatnot with friends, we played as Real Madrid. So, also used to like Chelsea. I liked a lot of different teams before realizing that they hated each other. When Ninja was talking about teams I didn't like as a kid, I didn't like the Lakers because I was a big Michael Jordan fan. Hated the Lakers because they were competition. And
because Space Jam.
Yeah. So I love Michael Jordan. Space Jam, one of my favorite movies. So yeah. I would say the Lakers were the team I disliked. The NASCAR driver I disliked was like Jeff Gordon. I don't remember why. Again, just didn't like the guy.
I don't like you.
Your face annoys me.
I'm going to be really controversial. I'm not a NASCAR fan. I have given it a go. I don't see I get the idea of drafting and getting slipstreams, left turn. That really bores me. I'm sorry. I'm an F1 fan, so I really like it. I do like my motorsport, but the NASCAR, I have to be honest. I know this is probably going to be a lot of Americans who are going to hate me saying this. Don't get it. Don't get the big hype about it. The skills there, of course it is, but it's just so dizzy, I think is the word I'd use for it. It's just nauseating, just going around the same track in a circle all the time. I just don't get that.
I watched it for the wrecks. I had bad intentions. I watched it for the wrecks, honestly, until my uncle was a big fan of it. That's what I liked about it, But I watched it to see if there's a wreck and not thinking about the people involved, right? Just thinking, oh, wow, a car, spinning or whatever. But I went and visited Daytona, which is where Dale Earnhardt passed away while he was racing. Dale Earnhardt was one of my favorite drivers back then, and that shifted my mindset about wrecks and stuff. But if you put me on NASCAR 98 or something, or NASCAR 99 on PlayStation, I would just drive backwards. I didn't know how I couldn't win a race. I would just drive backwards and just plow into cars. Again, not thinking about people, of course, like real world elements, but just thinking of the fun of a racing game.
Yeah.
Cars going.
There was a game called Destruction Derby, mate. That's an
Oh,
old
yeah.
game. That would have been for you.
Twisted Metal.
Wreckfest.
Twisted Metal.
Wreckfest.
There
Yeah,
you
Twisted
go.
Metal. Yeah, I didn't play a lot
Full
of Twisted Metal.
Auto by Sega. Sega.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Sega. Yeah. But yeah, lots of fun memories playing those type of games.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. Pinky, you got another question? Throwing her on the spot. She's like, no. Well,
Yes, I do. I was typing back in chat and couldn't unmute myself. So I was like, where have I gone?
Where's the button? Where's the button?
No, but Zoe,
Where's the button?
I thought they were gonna pick you up. I heard the sirens go off and they finally found you. But...
the massive
I'm
chicken
sorry,
out.
I had to mute that. I've got my window open. I'm on the path to the hospital, so you get a lot of ambulances going past. My apologies. I'm safe. Don't worry.
I'm going to ask a real quick question then, Pinky. Let me just ask a real quick one. So, obviously, I know you said that you got a bad back, Polo. You said you had a bad back. But was there any sports that you were partaking in that you really enjoyed?
Yep,
Yeah.
good question.
Yeah, played baseball. Yeah, esports. I mean, we already talked about it. I needed to get good, but I tried it, COD. I could talk smack with the best of them when I was 12. And back in the Xbox 360 live days. You know?
Call of Duty lobbies.
Yeah. Where I learned all the words I shouldn't have learned. So, yeah, I would say baseball was the sport I played the most. I was never good at it, to be honest, but it was something I stuck with through like early teen years. So it was like a consistency piece. Basketball is the one I love the most. I still love playing it with friends and stuff. That's the one that gives me the most issues with like my ankles and my back and stuff. One time I just fell back and then I like slipped a disc and stuff and had to wear a back brace.
Oh yeah.
And so ever since then I haven't just had some slight back discomfort. Never had to do surgery, fortunately. Just wore a back brace for like a year on the outside of my clothes. People call me Turtle in school.
No.
It was when Master Disguise came out. Do you remember Master Disguise? The turtle guy? He would wear like the suit and he'd be like, Turtle. People would call me that back in middle school. That's probably when we talked about the highs and lows of school. That's when it started. That's when the lows started.
I don't know if it was popular at your time, but at my time it would be an honor to be called Turtle, because I would be Raphael. But
oh yeah. Yeah, I played TMNT on the 24-hour stream and.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's what you started with, right?
Yeah, it was really cool. Shredder's Revenge, great game. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah,
it's really good.
I was lurking until you put Fortnite on, and then I thought, I'll come back to him later. I'm not a Fortnite fan. I'll come back later.
Actually, that's a good off the cuff. Net. I can't say it.
What?
Good question.
What?
But Polo, what was your favorite cartoon as a child?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say I was a big fan of that's really good. I enjoyed like Pokemon as a kid, and I didn't understand it. Now I know nothing about Pokemon. I watch like people that are good at Pokemon. I've got the Pokemon community game, as a lot of us do in the community, like Pink Ninja Bunny does as well. And
I do.
No,
not me, but
Fleety. Yeah, I apologize. So yeah, like I do that. The first Pokemon game though I actually beat was like Pokemon Sword. But yeah, I loved the cartoon. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Also didn't understand what's going on.
I love the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series as a kid. Like they did a what's the word for it? They they edited it. What's the word? God, brain!
Are you okay today, Pinky?
No, apparently not.
For those who didn't know, before we went live, we talked about, and Vin apologised to Polo about his English. Okay, so I think what we need to do next time is we need to get Pinky to apologise to our next streamer in advance. So Vin, I think you got nothing to worry about anymore. It's Pinky we got to worry about here.
Yeah.
Can you just do me a favour? Just take me off. I'm done. I'm done.
I can hit the mute button.
Where's the exit button?
Just to check me out the room.
Well, Zoe, if you're getting nervous, just think about us dancing. We'll be all be
No,
alright.
we're not talking about that. We're talking about Polo. We're going with that. Okay, next question, please.
Go on, Pinky. Can you get that question out? Can you get it out?
No, I've forgotten what it was now.
We were.
Okay, actually, I do remember a different one, so we'll move on very swiftly. What is your favourite film?
Inception. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes.
What a classic.
Great film.
Ooh,
A
good
film
choice.
within a film within a film, you know, just
Yeah.
no, it's just it was a really good time. Aside from that, like going back to like childhood films, Space Jam was probably up there. Loved The Wizard of Oz as a kid. Couldn't watch the bit with the like flying monkeys. Scared me. I had to fast forward on a VHS every time. But I watched that movie over and over and over again.
I feel your pain.
I love the fact that you've mentioned VHS. For the youngsters who are watching, VHS was what we used to watch videos on. All right.
Be kind,
That's what we
rewind.
used to use.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Okay.
amazing.
And what's your favourite genre of film? What do you go to if you're going to pick up a film of any kind? What's your go-to genre of films?
I would say
It's the movie in America.
Yes,
Sorry, Pink. Yeah, she's gone. She's gone.
Pink has exited the room. Yeah. I would say a favorite though. In all reality, probably like action adventure type stuff. I'm not a big movie person though. My brother, a huge fan. I've got a half brother. He's a huge fan of movies. Has like this insane catalog in his brain of all these films over the years. I personally don't have that. I can't tell you the last time I went to see a film in the theaters. Like I just don't seek much out. The latest movie I did see and enjoyed was the new Batman film.
Yeah,
The
me
newest
too.
Batman
Actually, that's
film.
the last film I went and watched as well.
Go
Yeah.
watch Sonic 2.
I still want to see that. Is it good?
Really? It's actually good. Jim Carrey at his best. Sonic 2 is really, really good. Again.
That's awesome.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you can't be Jim Carrey and Liar. I'm sorry. That is the role he was born for. It's one of the greatest films he's ever been in.
Dr. Eggman.
Liar.
Liar is one of the. I agree.
Yeah.
The Truman Show, another great one.
For me, it was
And-
the Cable Guy.
Oh, Ace Ventura was also good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So on that subject, because we could talk about a particular actor, what is your favorite, or who is your favorite actor?
By the way, I've got to tell you,
I would
Jennifer Aniston is banned from anybody.
Why?
Oh wow.
Because Jennifer Aniston is claimed by myself.
Oh
No.
okay.
All right, just staying. Sorry, Jennifer, if you're watching, love you.
Oh dear.
Carry on.
Yeah.
What?
Love you, Jen.
Oh, yeah.
I would say.
Megan Fox
probably
in
Leonardo.
Transformers also banned then. It's
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say probably Leonardo, like for his variety of roles. Or I mean, I think that again, I'm not a huge movie buff by any means, but I really enjoyed, and like Titanic is one of the first films that really stuck with me. You know, I remember going back to the VHS days. I remember my mom trying to skip forward the nude scene, the painting in the nude scene. I remember that, and but I remember Titanic stuck with me. Of course, you know, Rose was a jerk, and the door was plenty big enough. But that's beside the point.
That moment of controversy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have to agree. Actually, I think Leo's amazing. Are you in the same baffled mind as me? Why it took so long to get the Oscar? That was like an ongoing meme.
Yeah. I honestly have no clue. I don't follow awards very well, but I knew it eluded him for many years, and I think he's incredible. I really think, I think Joaquin Phoenix, and the role he played in the Joker really turned me on to him and like his commitment to the role.
Oh, he's good as well.
Yeah, and
I liked him in the Gladiator.
Oh yeah,
he was so good in the Gladiator. Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah. The best role I ever saw played, I thought, was the Joker back in like the original, or like when Batman was brought back, the Heath Ledger, of course. So obviously, rest in peace to him.
Oh wow, yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was the
incredible.
best performance I had seen in a film from an individual actor. Like that always stuck with me. Yeah,
Great film. Great film. That one. It's, I read somewhere that apparently Michael Caine was having a conversation with Heath Ledger, and then he got called up. So Heath, you're up. It's your turn. And then literally, apparently, he just like switched on a light and went straight into Joker like instantly.
Mhm.
Michael Caine was like, he's never seen that in his entire years of acting. Someone that can literally switch back into the role like that. It was phenomenal. And I think you could see it in his performance, couldn't you? Really, it's just so good.
Mhm.
So good.
Yeah, those films, those games, some of the best media that I've consumed. The Batman Dark Knight, things like that, and then the games, of course, the Arkham games. Love those.
The Arkham games are amazing.
They're really good.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played the whole series then? The Arkham Asylum, City of the Night?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I played those three. I didn't play the other game that came out like on Xbox 360 after the Xbox One came out. I forget what it was called. Origins, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to that one. But yeah, I did play those three and I loved them. Definitely.
What made you not go for Origins? Was it just
It was
fancy it, or
at the time, I can't remember if you could play it on Xbox or not, or people just kind of wrote it off. I don't know if it was made by Rocksteady or if I think it was an offshoot of Rocksteady maybe that developed or produced that game. So I think I just wasn't. I think I just moved on, I guess, and I didn't hear like the glowing reviews because of the move to next gen, I guess. So.
Makes sense.
Love it. Love it. Okay, Finn, do you want to ask any more questions about sports before we move on?
About sports?
Happy? Yeah.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy now.
You happy?
I
Happy with
think
those answers?
Yeah, I think it's about time we go to gaming.
Oh, you want to get on to
Good
gaming?
You are all streamers here, so it makes sense to go on to gaming by now.
Finn, far away, mate. Far away gaming question, pal.
So, I can start? Okay.
Yeah,
So, what was the first console you ever owned? And what made you fall in love with gaming?
Yeah. So I think first console I ever owned, Sony PlayStation 1. I had a Game Boy Color around this time for portable. It always made me sick. I would play it in a car and made me sick. Game Boy Colors, that is. I remember they had a little rope light thing that would attach to it so you could see in the dark.
Yeah.
But,
the magnifying glass, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember the magnifying glass as well. Yeah. I feel like I need that now in life, like just on my phone, everything. Like, oh, I need a little bigger here. But regardless, yeah, the Sony PlayStation 1, I played, I went over to a cousin's house. I think my mom was considering getting it for me as a gift or something. I don't know this to be true, but I went over to a cousin's house, played like NBA Live. We were talking about NBA earlier, NBA Live or something, like 98. I was like, this is so realistic. And this like polygonal figure going down the court. You can't know like this. Yeah, absolutely, pretty much. And or even like Madden, I think we played that day, and I was like, this is really, really a cool experience. And then going on to play NASCAR, Crash being my first thing that I really, really dove into, the first series that like absolutely loved. I don't know if maybe I beat Crash 1 as a kid, probably with some help from my mom, to be honest. She got hooked into it. That was like the one game she actually loved. And then I think I actually did beat Crash 2 and 3 on my own. It took a while, but I beat them. And then I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then so many games from there that come to mind that were influential in my life on a just an enjoyment level, but also just like shaped the person I am today.
If we had to ask you to pick one as an all-time favorite game, what would it be and why?
Such a tough question, this one.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I threw it in there.
It's gonna say Skies of Arcadia, of course.
No, he's not, Ben.
Skies of who?
Your favorite? Exactly. Skies of what?
Even better.
A couple of just quick honorable mentions would probably the first Last of Us in Skyrim. But for me, probably Crash 1 because it goes back to memories and nostalgia and but how well the game was made. It was very difficult at the time. Now it can beat the game like the full game in like 2 hours. As a kid, I could never do that. But
you can do it in 2 hours?
Yeah, about 2 hours now. I once did a stream where I beat like Crash 1 through 4. And then like Crash Team Racing in like 16 hours, 17 hours, something like that.
Amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I can't even be one of them.
But it takes a lot of practice, but it rewarded you for continuing to play and to get better. You know, every time, every death made you feel better. That's what I love about Cuphead now, a game that I play currently.
Oh wow, yeah.
You always get this feeling of like one more try, you know? Even when it can be frustrating, it's one more try. So Crash 1 probably my favorite because of the memories it holds. Even though I think probably Crash 2 and 3 were a little bit better, like balanced. I think Crash 1 I would say is probably my favorite of all time. You
just made me feel nauseous mentioning Cuphead. That's the main reason we had the Fleety Rage because of that
game. No, that was Mirror's Edge.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Mirror's Edge. Apologies.
But yeah, what about PUBG?
Okay, all right. There's a lot of rage here. There's a lot of rage.
Fleety, tell us about your frustration in games. Let's turn the tables here now.
Yeah.
He thinks he's dead.
Actually, to be fair, that's a good way to turn the question around to you. What game has made you rage the most on stream? Have you ever rage quit a game on stream?
To that point, I've put down Cuphead on stream. I don't know that I've rage quit. I'm sure somebody could call me out on that, but there are a few games that I stopped because I just didn't. I stopped the enjoyment for it. Cuphead was a game that I put down like a year ago. I love the game. I had nothing bad to say about it then, but I was like, this is it, or like this is not it. I stopped about Detroit, or about halfway through Detroit. I just wasn't interested, and then finally I decided to go back and finish it because I heard so many raving things about it. Not rage quit. Although at the end, I finished the game, but I kind of raged at the ending I got because I missed the QuickTime event. I was it hurt my heart so much. A character may have perished, in the end of that game that broke me. Freaking broke me. I was so invested.
I think I know
that's
exactly
fine.
which one you're talking about, and that if you got the same one as me, I feel for you.
Oh, I freaking missed the button press. I missed the button press. No, but it was a good time though. But yeah, Halo Reach is the game I remember snapping Halo Reach physically in half, and that was during a moment of rage on Xbox 360 back in like, I guess that was probably I was like 2021, and not proud of that, but I was on Halo Reach. There's like this final gunner scene. I won't get into spoilers or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just kind of ran through, and back then I wasn't patient enough to restart a checkpoint or restart a level, which I should have done. That would have fixed it. But instead, I just kept getting shot from behind, so I couldn't see the final cutscene because I kept shooting the thing in front of me, but it wouldn't trigger the final cutscene.
Yeah, I know the scene. Yeah.
Oh.
And because I had enemies behind me, it was like the game kept spawning it back. The game logic just kept spawning the enemies behind me, so I didn't restart. And I was like, "This is so stupid!" It was the first Halo game I was gonna beat, and I just it was the worst. It was the worst. But yeah,
But it has
for the record,
such a calming music. When you start the game, it's
yeah.
How can you rage? You're completely zen when you start. Come on.
I have never snapped a CD, so I'm gonna give Polar the marks for that one. You can beat me on that.
Yes.
I have never physically snapped a CD.
Have you ever broken a controller? Anybody ever broken a
Yeah.
controller?
No.
And a TV.
Oh,
TV. What did you do? Throw the controller at the TV?
Yeah, FIFA.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, sports games used to wind me up. They still do. Sports games is one of the few games that like I get really competitive in those. Not in shooters, not in anything else, but sports games. Madden in particular is the one that still miss me. If the computers beat me on something I feel is unfair, I'm like,
To be fair, there's nothing worse than losing to the computer. So you're sort of thinking, I am dumber than an AI. This hurts my soul.
You're wrecked by your computer. Stupid game.
Love that.
Okay, and another question on that one. With gaming, what is your favorite genre of games to play, and what is your least favorite?
I would say first-person shooters or open-world RPGs definitely a favorite. Least favorite JRPGs, turn-based encounters.
Fleety.
And it's I don't like random encounters. That's my biggest thing. So I never beat a Pokemon game until Pokemon Sword and Shield. Beat that on stream when I was hopeful back in the day, and it was enjoyable. But by the end, I was just so done with encounters because it was like Sword and Shield. There's like so many layers of like final bosses. That end sequence is like, I would say like 5-10 hours. I was asking about stream, like, hey, are we almost done yet? You know what I'm saying? I can only throw out my Charizard so many times. Like, I didn't have a Charizard. I think you went against Charizard in that game at the end. But yeah, I was like, I can only throw out this freaking Pokemon so many times. but yeah, JRPGs have never stuck with me. Games that I've liked, like Octopath Traveler, love the story of it and stuff.
Yeah.
The bit I did play, I played like 5-10 hours of it. I got to one of those mansions, just random encounter after random encounter. I was like, I'm done. But I appreciate them. But that's why I never got into like Final Fantasy or JRPGs really. Just the encounters or the turn-based nature of it.
I can understand that and appreciate.
But if it isn't turn-based and you can see the enemies and you can pass them, without finding them, you still
more like
you can enjoy them then. Yeah, like Dragon Quest and stuff,
Yeah, I've never played Dragon Quest, but I've heard about that, and I think I would be more into that. The new Pokemon, I didn't beat it. Legend of Arceus, I think. I'm very into that style. I didn't beat Arceus, like I said, but I really appreciate the idea that you don't have to just encounter after encounter after encounter. Just walk through the grass or whatnot.
Yeah, you can see what you're getting into, and you know whether you can avoid them or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the question I'm going to ask for everybody listening: if you had one game to recommend to someone, it may be obscure, that maybe you think people may not have played, what would that be?
Great question.
That was a great question. I would, for me personally, I would say Cuphead, maybe.
Cuphead?
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people still come in. I'm amazed at how many people don't know about it, because to me, it's because Xbox kind of did a lot to promote it when it first came out as kind of like an indie darling.
Yeah.
But people are still like, oh, this gives me Nintendo vibes, or this gives me this and that. And of course, now you can play Cuphead on Switch and other platforms. But
It also has a Netflix show.
I was about to say, it also has a
I haven't
Netflix.
seen that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that myself.
The game is so hard because I when it launched on Xbox, I bought it and tried it. But I'm probably too bad for the game because I just can't make it. It's just so damn hard.
I've probably spent 30 hours just in trying over and over again to get like 52% of the game. 20, 30 hours of just death, death and death and death.
It is definitely, man. That's exactly what it is.
But the feeling of winning though is so satisfying on that, and that's I think what keeps me going on it. And it's just a really well made game. It doesn't feel unfair.
Have you not completed it yet then?
No, I'm still kind of ongoing. Like I said, I put it down, then I restarted completely on PC because now I just stream from PC. I used to stream, or I played it on Xbox or capture card and stuff on stream, but now I'm just streaming from PC. So yeah, I had to start all the way back over, but now at 52% on Island 3. Let's go be honeycomb jerk face enemy. So
I have to be honest, mate. Cuphead for me is one of the only games that I have actually enjoyed the death simulation of it and actually finished. And for those who actually know me, if I die too many times with a game and it makes me rage too much, it's getting put down. Cuphead is probably the only one that has stopped me doing that. And I don't know why, because there's something about it. I think your recommendation there is a great one. For anybody that hasn't played it, Cuphead, honestly, it is so
I need to go.
So
I need to get back into it.
It just hits every nerve, I think.
I think
but
so
the satisfaction is incredible. You're right there, 100% right in there.
Yeah, Celeste is another like lesser known game. Yeah, Celeste, the beautiful game about mental health, and an awesome game to check out as well. If there's anyone who hasn't played it yet, highly recommend Celeste as well. And Journey and emotional experience. Journey is an incredible experience. That was a PS3 game, I think, initially, but it's on PS4, PS5 now. So
I say because Journey's more like a walking simulator, isn't it? So there's no combat or anything, correct?
Yeah, there's like like jumping and things like that, but yeah, it is very much more like of an experience. It's gaming as an experience, and that's one of the few games like that I enjoy. I don't generally like walking sims, but yeah, Journey is highly recommend that experience to everybody.
That's like it. Pinky, you're up.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to streaming very briefly.
Okay.
So I want to ask, who would you say is your biggest supporter in terms of streaming? Who's been there for you the most?
Yeah, so when I read, just thinking about this, this segment, just thinking about everything in general, I thought about who's the most supportive in my life. Definitely my mom, but then in terms of streaming, not my mom. Anti-mom. She hates. She's like, why would people watch this nonsense? And
she's one of those.
Yeah, she's like, yeah. Anybody in my family is like live streaming, and like my younger, family, they're like, oh, TikTok, Instagram. And I'm like, no, not that, But
not TikTok.
But I would say some really good people that have been extremely supportive and good friends throughout the process. There's a person named Archie. I don't know if you all know Archie very well. If you all have encountered Archie, she is someone I look up to as a streamer and a person, and just been a great friend behind the scenes over the time that I've known her. We met them through a raid early on into my hopeful days, and truly never looked back. I am the Pizza Babe, another incredible person.
She's lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Love her energy and just her as a person. She's been there through a lot. And then my friend Neserados, 26, is somebody that's modded for me, probably most consistently. Neserados and Crag. Neserados has always been there, a good friend. I don't think I've never played a game with Nest, which that makes me sad, but I understand anxiety, mental health, and stuff may make that thing more difficult. Or we just don't play the same mutual games. But regardless, Neserados has been a great friend throughout and a great mod. And I appreciate for the people who saw the transition from the hopeful days back in the day and my mental health challenges. I have a toxic trait of just yeeting myself from everything and just disappearing. That's my like defense mechanism, or it used to be. I'm trying to work past that. But those are the people I just mentioned are some people that were there throughout. And for that, I will be eternally grateful. Anybody that came back from those hopeful days.
So they're the ones that got the lasso out, mate. They got the lasso out and grabbed you and pulled you back in.
Yeah.
Best way to describe it. Amazing.
Amazing. Of course, we'll have to say, of course, these aren't the only people who support you, but these are the ones who have stuck with you for the longest. Yeah,
and friends on the new Polar journey, like commentator, been a close friend throughout that process. And there's numerous other people I've encountered on this journey as hopeful. Or as Polar, excuse me, but as just Matt, ultimately I'm Matt at the end of the day. But I'm still the same person, but yeah, I just have a special affinity for those people who were there for that first journey because I truly hit some dark places at the time.
Yeah. And this is the place where it'll start to show because you're putting on a show. And for, like at the time you were saying it was like 7 days a week, 4 hours a day. There's not really the opportunity to not show that if you are feeling it.
Yeah. Now I really try to project positivity in streams, have open and candid conversations, and I don't try to lie to my audience in any way. Like if I'm not doing well, I may say I'm okay or something like that. But I realize that Twitch is an escape for most of us, especially, and that while I'm more than willing to have those conversations, and I'm trying to be like when I observe things, I try not to be complacent with like allowing myself to be like a second party offender, or not offender per se, but if that makes sense, like to watch something and think that it's okay in my chat or in other people's chat or so on and so forth. I want to be an advocate for positivity, but also want to project that. So some days maybe I have to convince myself that I'm doing well, but I am doing the best I can to project a positive attitude on stream. And I think that's something that's you see a correlation with an improvement in your morale and your chat and everything, because we all so many of us deal with those mental health challenges. It's very hard to feel in a low place, go into a chat seeking escape, and then be told more about low places. So while I don't hide my challenges, I also don't. I try to focus on the positive as much as I can and try to lift people up,
and not allow yourself to be dragged down in the process.
Love that. Well, Vin's had this pick because his daughter's just literally come in and raided him. So rain hype.
Jiggle, wiggle.
Love it.
We love Lustero.
That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'm gonna ask this question. I think you are back, Vin, yeah?
Yeah, sorry, my kids just come running.
We know you got raided. We know.
Red Vin hype.
Vinny, was it all three of them or just which one was it?
Celine, the youngest one.
Celine, oh bless her.
It's pretty hot, you know. It's not like in America where we have AC standard at our houses.
Yeah.
So she should have been sleeping, but she's now daddy.
Oh, give her my love, please.
Oh, she's back to bed now, sir.
Gotcha.
Yeah, let's not wake her up. She's gone. Vin, it's your turn to ask a question, pal. You've obviously been thrown off by Celine there, but have you got a question for P0lar?
Yeah, because obviously you started with PlayStation, right? And you just said you're now from Xbox went to a PC player. So is PC your main platform now, or?
Yeah, it's I have issues with my USB controllers on my PC. Like, just got too much stuff plugged in, so I can't use a capture at the moment. So I stream and play games from PC, but I also play games on Xbox and PlayStation. Love Switch. I don't have a Switch at the moment, but love Switch as well. Big fan of a variety of platforms to play in games, but yeah, PC is probably where I play the most now. But in my like leisure, I like to play PlayStation or Xbox, just be able to sit away from like the computer desk, you know.
Okay, yeah.
I like that escape, and that's what took me so long to adapt to be on the computer. But I still play mostly with controller. Some games I play mouse and key now, but yeah, still mainly a controller player just from habit, I think.
Yeah. So what's your favorite controller then?
That's a great question. I think I like the Xbox Series XS controller with the share button in the middle. I think it's a really solid controller. The Nintendo Switch Pro controller, awesome. I think it's a little slippery, like meaning it's not as like textured. And then the DualSense, I don't know how I feel about that on the PS5.
The problem is with the Switch controller, the A and B are switched.
The wrong way round.
So, yeah.
I'm so used to Xbox and PlayStation, and when I finally got a Nintendo Switch and tried this, and for me this is A, right?
Yeah, me as well.
Yeah,
so, X is
the comfort is perfect. Like it's how it's in your hand and the buttons. It's brilliant controller, but it's just I don't get why Nintendo switches this around.
We need to summon the goal. I hope for this podcast. What I'd like to see this podcast do is do an international summit. Sony, PlayStation, Xbox. Let's just make the same buttons. All right.
Yeah.
A and X can be the same thing.
Beautiful.
We can come together. We can merge together.
Yeah.
To make a happy gamer life. And
Yeah.
We'll make this happen. We'll send it up
Yeah,
to like the leaders
please
of every country.
yes, please do.
I'll be on
Just
What
like
Twitter,
UN
don't you worry.
ambassadors.
What do countries have to do with controllers? You have to do the companies, Pinky.
No, but
Yeah,
if we get the governments involved, they're going to crack down on the companies. They'll have to do it.
yeah,
See, thinking smart.
yeah. We're getting lobbyists. We're going all in. We're going all in.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Oh, problems we have, eh? Buttons
Yeah.
in the wrong location. So I've got a question for you as well, though, P0lar, and I'm going to ask you. All right. Obviously, we're going back to Parker. Obviously, your partner.
Mhm.
What's your home situation? What's your life? I mean, you don't have to answer this question. It is a personal one. What's your current situation like?
I'd say it's complex. I would respectfully, I would leave it there, but I would say it's I would say that Parker's mom is an incredible person, someone that I love and care about, and I think that's the best way to leave it. But ultimately, I love Parker, and just so glad that he's part of our lives.
Love that, mate.
Yeah.
No, love that.
Amazing.
I had to ask the question. That's what I'm here for, and I respect that.
Mhm.
Obviously, you can't answer too much, but thank you for answering what you could. Thank you very much. Go on, Vin. You haven't got a filter. What question you want to ask? Go on. Oh, he's thinking about it. I can hear it in his brain.
What? Sorry.
He's not with us. He's not with us. You got a question, Vin? Is he
Maybe
not
some
hearing me?
audio
You having
issues.
trouble?
Is he having audio trouble?
Vin, can you hear us?
No, he's no.
Then put up 2 fingers if you're in danger.
He
That's
can't
just
hear
why
us.
coming around with a flip flop.
He can't. Go on, Pinky. You can ask the next question. Go on.
Okay.
He's got to sort himself out.
So let's go a little bit off topic. And
Alright.
it's something that's close to my heart, so hopefully this will be the same for you. Music.
Hello?
What?
Hello,
Hello,
Vin.
Vinny.
Hello, Vin.
Can you hear
Oh, yeah.
us?
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what happened, but...
For a split second, you just couldn't hear anything?
We got some good ideas. Someone said you got lost in the Matrix, so we'll take that one.
I'm updating some stuff, I see.
Oh, okay.
My computer's starting updates now, so...
Oh, that's
sorry,
not a good
sorry.
time. That's not a good time.
Sorry.
Go on,
Sorry.
Pinky. Carry on, Pinky. On
Yes,
the
so-
music subject.
Music. What is your favorite genre of music and your least favorite genre of music?
That's a great question. Lately, I've been on this like EDM kick, like where I just want to listen to like popular tunes in like an EDM tone. I'm just like, bump, 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 just vibing. But I would say, like electronic dance music. I think's the genre. I've just been vibing, just bump, bump, bump. But anyways, but other than that, I'd say like rock, like alternative rock, like early mid 2000s. I think we're all just partial to like what we grew up with.
Linkin Park.
Yeah, Linkin
Yep.
Park, great shout. Like more recent bands that I like Imagine Dragons. I was really big
Yeah,
on them.
they're really good, yeah.
Red Hot Chili
Love them.
Peppers, loved them. And bands like that, I think. In terms of least favorite genre, more classical style is not my genre per se, I would say. It's just it's something I can listen to, but it's not something I engage in, like actively seek out. Like when studying, I understand the benefits of it and stuff, but now that you're out of school, who needs to study? I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. Continue learning, reading,
Study. Keep
doing
studying.
your thing. Yeah, keep studying at life. But
Don't drop school.
yeah, no, yeah, certainly don't drop school. But yeah, so I would say rock, and then back then hip hop as well. Back in the early 2000s, hip hop, huge Eminem fan. More recently, like Drake was a big artist that I enjoyed a lot. Still enjoy listening to their music a lot. So yeah, well, kind of a wide gamut. I like country music. I like a wide gamut of music.
That's a really good thing. And I suppose there's an interesting question. Are you one for live music? And what is the band that you've seen most recently live? If you haven't, who would you like to see live?
Yeah. So this September, October-ish, I'm supposed to go see. I've seen Red Hot Chili Peppers twice. Both times were like subpar experiences, more due to outside factors. But I'd love to see them again. The Foo Fighters are a band I would like to see live. The most
me
recent
too.
band I saw live, probably a country concert with Brad Paisley, probably, or something like that. But I've seen Chevelle, Papa Roach, Hinder. I've seen a lot of Chevelle is probably mindless self-indulgence, a lot of different like genres of music. But live, like in terms of live performance, Imagine Dragons or probably Chevelle were actually my two favorite to see live.
Fantastic.
It's been a long time though since I've been to a live show, so I can't remember which one was actually last.
That's fair. With lockdown, it's been difficult to get back into any kind of concerts recently, so I can imagine it's been a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're quite lucky. We've got Glastonbury over here. Massive, massive. We can all watch from our TV set. Go on, Picky. Ask that question. Let's Finn. You've got one now. Have you got a question, Finn? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Have you got a question?
Well, since you're talking about country music, right?
Yeah, I grew up. My mom was a big fan as a kid, so it just kind of stuck with me through the years.
So, are you a Ford or a Chevy fan?
Oh, okay.
The great American debate. I drive a Chevy, so.
Oh, you have a Chevy?
Yeah, I drive a Chevy. I drive an old Chevy, but yeah, I drive a Chevy, branded like SUV. So yeah, I'm partial to Chevy, but I have a half brother that works at Ford. Worked there many years, so yeah. So Ford is really big in my city. It's a big organization in here, but I'm loyal to Chevy.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question.
That isn't it? Chevy or Ford? That is the big question. I love the fact that you got that from country music. I was like, where you going there?
You hear about them both. You do hear about them both.
Yeah.
I love how big the jump it was as well. Not even like, do you like country music? No. Okay, we're going to go down that route.
Well, you stole Gaming Gecko's heart with it, so.
I'm going to actually elaborate on that. Actually, if money wasn't a factor, what car would you get, mate? That's a big question.
Ooh, good question.
Yeah, so I would say there's these newer models Chevys actually called Chevy. Well, it's a Chevy Trailblazers. I drive a much older model that's many moons old at this point, but the new models, I really love them. I think they're awesome. So I would probably drive one of those. Not the fanciest car or anything, but just a nice SUV, nice like kind of mid-size SUV. I just love the style of it, and I think I have like now an affinity toward that kind of model of car. They took a break from making those for years, but now they're back. I weathered the storm of many years of this old car, so maybe someday I'll get that one. In the future, if money wasn't a factor.
That's all it matters, A to B.
Mm-hmm.
Pinky, let's go again. You're up.
Okay. Okay, well, we were going to ask about it. It may have already been technically covered, but the last time we did this, we asked about hobbies or interests that outside of gaming, outside of streaming. Is there any hobbies or interests you have that are quite unusual?
That's a good question. Sadly, I can't disclose those things now. Remember we talked about Amaranth at the beginning, like the top. Whoa!
I'm just going to pause everyone here. Just 2 seconds, guys. Those in chat or those who are listening have missed the beginning of this conversation. P0lar started streaming because he first watched Amaranth. Now, make of that what you will. I know what I make of it, and I completely concur with him. A winky face. But that's where P0lar started Amaranth, okay? And that's where this joke's coming on from. So...
Yeah.
Sorry, P0lar. No. I'll take a question again. Sorry, pal.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, outside, I mean, honestly, I get very focused in on my jobs when I do have, again, I'm kind of in a transition period at the moment, but I don't have any, I don't read very often, honestly, like to be fully transparent. I used to love listening to audiobooks or like reading improvement, motivational, mental health related books and things like that. But yeah, I mean, streaming and gaming are really my two passions. Going. I enjoy going to the gym. I get on the wagon, off the wagon, on the wagon, off the wagon. Over the journey of life. When I care more about fitness, when I don't. Right now, I'm drinking water. Well, I'm drinking a little bit, probably a Red Bull or Coke.
Oh, well.
Yeah, bottle water.
He's so proud. He's learned how to speak British with a British accent.
Yeah.
No, so you go to the gym. Are you one of those that's quite keen on your fitness? You've said obviously you're off and on it, but do you have like a routine you follow, or is it more sort of ad hoc as and when you feel like it?
Lately I'm just getting back into mainly focused on cardio, just trying to improve my physical condition. When I started taking antidepressants and stuff, not to get too serious again, but I gained a lot of weight and stuff, and I just became less motivated. Antidepressants were great at like leveling my like serotonin or my like happiness glands, right? But or not letting me overreact to things that I shouldn't, but it also led me to being like complacent with inaction in some ways. it just kind of mellows you out to where you don't feel like you need to take action. So I let myself gain all this weight and all this other stuff. When I was younger, I did have a pretty strong routine. I followed like a workout program. I was going to the gym 6-7 days a week. Now I'm trying to get back on the horse. So just doing mainly cardio and stuff. But if I do follow a program, it's like push pull legs is essentially the name of the program. You do it like once or twice a week, depending on how you want to do it. But one day you do pushing exercise like bench press, work arms, like chest, things like that. The next day you do pull, which is more like biceps, back, things like that. And then legs, of course, leg exercises. So if I'm following a program now, that's more what I'm following loosely.
Okay, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
For your fitness advice, please contact Polar Vortex.
It's one of those things.
Vortex.
Some of the best trainers, at a gym are the least healthy, but they know the stuff. So I mean, come to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'll tell you all the techniques. Just don't do what I do.
Yeah.
I know the theory. I just don't like doing it. The only gym I know is the bloke round the corner. So.
Yeah,
Fleety. Sorry, Fleety, but quick question: Can I stop that? My computer is gonna restart or not? How do I stop that?
Don't know, mate. If you have to restart and disappear, we got it. Don't
No, it's counting down, so I don't.
Okay, so guys, Vin's
no.
Everybody say goodbye to Vin.
We love it. Family.
I have minutes.
Don't forget to
I have 7 minutes left, but it says 7 minutes. It's counting down now.
Okay, we'll be fine. If you disappear, you disappear, mate. Don't worry.
Okay.
Too much.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I'll try to stop this. Yeah. I will try to stop this. I don't know how, but
If you have to go, you have to go, Vin. Don't you worry about it.
The updates are finished. That's good.
This is what we got Vin on. So Vin is our comic relief because he does stuff like this. Well, he's on a podcast. He does updates on his computer and then he shuts down.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, viewers. I have no idea how computers work. So I do stream, but I everybody help me, including Fleety and a lot of other people. But I have no idea.
Oh, brilliant. Peaky, Vin, actually, before you disappear then, mate, do you want to ask a question? Come on, Vin.
Yeah.
Before you disappear, ask a question.
Sorry. Do you know how to stop? Do you know how to stop this P0lar?
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear Lord, Vin.
Pause, restart. Vin.
No, I think I got it.
Vin disappears because he's actually started the update.
No, well, the whole screen is gone, but the countdown is all. So.
Okay, why Vin's playing Risky Pierre? We're going to go back on topic. P0lar, I've got a question for you, mate. So, I'm just going to say, hypothetically here, let's say, because obviously we know that streaming is something that you're very passionate about in video games, and that's ideally where you probably want to take your future. So I'm just going to go hypothetical. Let's take streaming out. Let's take gaming out. If there was any ideal job you could do that you really think you'd love, what would be your ideal future job?
Global communications manager, I think. So working in like a global organization, working on their strategic communication plans, like their PR, their marketing and things in different regions, or even a regional communications manager that was working multiple countries. If I wanted to do something like that, I would say like working at like an embassy. I visited a U.S. embassy in Belize, and it was a really cool experience. I got to talk with some of the people that work there. Seems like an incredible experience. You move around a lot. It can be very difficult depending on where you're at, obviously, and U.S. relations at the time with different countries. But yeah, jobs that would allow me to travel and see the world. Those are ideal for me.
Amazing.
Fantastic choice.
Amazing. So would it safe to say that traveling is definitely something you'd like to do more of? Is it fair to say?
Yeah, definitely trying to take now that COVID is still ongoing, of course, or the virus, I should say. I apologize because I know it's a voodoo word, but I do know that I try to take smaller trips and I'm going to go visit a friend from Twitch. I went and visited a friend from Twitch in Boston earlier this year who had met for a couple months, really vibed with. I was like, hey, let's go check him out. Let's go meet him. I'm meeting a friend from Scotland. We're meeting in New York though. His girlfriend is an awesome Scottish artist, and she is performing in New York City. So I'm gonna go take a trip there. So taking smaller trips like that while I can, but yeah, I would absolutely love to travel internationally again. Go to the UK, go to some other places in Europe aside from Croatia and Italy. Although I love those places, I'd love to go back, but I'd love to see more. as well.
Italy's my favorite country in the world. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rome was one of the best places I ever visited.
Oh,
On that
man,
Croatia
yes.
trip, I spent some time in Rome. I only got a couple days there though. But the basilicas, and I'm not the most religious person, but just the beauty of those basilicas and the Vatican and the Sistine Chapel is like a life-changing experience. St. Peter's Basilica, just walking and seeing all that is incredible.
But especially when they build it, right? How the hell did they build that in that time without the technology we have these days? I've been there multiple times, and every time I'm still fascinated. Even the fountains, outside, everything. It's so gorgeously done. I don't get it, but
yeah, truly.
I love how they still have the center of Rome is still car free, because of the streets are so small and everything is still authentic to when the Romans built it. I love it. I love it.
It is incredible.
So, but
absolutely.
Then I have a question for you as well, right? Because you said you would like to travel, and you're also a Twitcher and a gamer. Let's go with this.
I love it. Love that phrase.
Is that a word or not? Sorry.
Well,
the active Twitcher.
It is. It doesn't mean the same thing in English.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
also be from Tourette's. So...
Yeah, sorry.
It's also a name for someone who's like a bird watcher.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not a bad thing.
not that type of bird, Vin.
Oh,
actual birds.
All right, Ben, did you have to go? But it was great seeing you, mate. And
how's that countdown getting on?
1 minute. It should be.
I'm still here. Sorry. So.
Love it.
How much longer?
Go on, Vin. Sorry, get a question out, mate.
So now Ghost is gone. You are getting E3 back, right? Are you going to E3?
I'd love to go to TwitchCon. There's a TwitchCon in San Diego. I'm actually going to California the weekend before that, going to a different place in California. I'd love to go to TwitchCon. Now with Parker, things are complicated, so I want to take these small trips, but also not be gone too often, of course.
Oh yeah,
and just the funds from TwitchCon. But I'd love to go to TwitchCon. I've never been to an E3. I'd love to go to PAX. I missed PAX by a week in Boston this year when I visited. I'd love to go to PAX. Some of those type shows. Gaming conventions, depending on where the podcast and things went, I'd like to cover stuff like that, but but ultimately I think I'm more social interaction and engaged, more involved in like the active streaming and meeting other content creators and that platform. But I do have an interest in pursuing more gaming things. But like if I were to go to E3 just to play like 10 minutes of a game preview or something, I don't know if I would find that like a redeeming thing, like waiting all day to play a game preview as like a general access member, in like a game when it's not finished form. I'm not like really interested in that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Good question though.
Yeah.
So
thanks for the answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Go on, Piggy. You see you got a question.
I was about to say, on the traveling front,
Mm-hmm.
Is there a country that you haven't been to already that you'd really love to go to? Like, what's your bucket list country or countries? If there's a tie, where do you really want to go?
I would say definitely the UK. I'd love to visit the UK. England, Scotland. I'd love to see Ireland as well. But I would say like the next, like the grandest thing I would like to see, like, or just due to distance, I would say is probably Australia, and just see something different. I think that'd be really, really cool. I'd love to go. Met some great people from Australia through Twitch, but yeah, I think that's probably my next stop. But Spain is up there. Turkey, I'd like to visit. I mean, there's so many places in Europe that I would love to visit, just the continent of Europe, but and the UK as well. But yeah, that's a great question. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Don't come to the UK. Don't come to the UK.
I hear there's this debate between UKers with London. Like some people, if you live in London and you're around London, you're okay with London. But the other people I talk to from the UK, they're like, "Oh, London's piss poor. To hell with that place."
To be fair, we're really good at hating our own countries, and I find this since being international with people, everyone hates their own country for some reason or another. The UK has some incredible places to visit. That much is true. The Lake Districts, the seaside towns, some of the areas like the Cotswolds are incredible places. But London is very much a mixed bag. It has some great things, but it's a mess. Okay, Major Town.
It's Marmite. It is very
Yeah.
with British people, especially. It is Marmite. You either
Mm-hmm.
love it or you hate it. So for me personally, I hate it just for the travel side of it. But
No,
at the same
I
time,
don't agree.
I understand why people love it.
I went
No,
to
no.
Colchester. I loved it.
That's not really London.
I was going to say, that's Essex, but we'll go with that.
You can have that.
It's near London, right?
Right, Colchester, distance-wise, Vin, is probably equal from us to London. Just in a
Yeah,
different
it's
direction.
about the distance between Rotterdam and Amsterdam.
You can't say that second city. You can say that.
Sorry, Ben.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
I have
Vin's
to say
from
it.
Rotterdam and he hates Amsterdam. So that's the same
Yes.
principle. So yeah. But Polar, if you ever come over to the UK, mate, and you needed places to stay, we're all here, mate. You got plenty of us in the UK that'll have you, mate. You got nothing to worry about there, pal. So yeah, Pinky, do you want to carry on with the questions?
Trying to think which ones we got left. Okay, so actually, going back to streaming again very quickly, because has been one we've missed. Have you got? Sorry, there's been a lot we've missed, to be fair, but I'm trying to work out where we've got them. But in terms of streaming, do you have any recommendations for those who are starting out? So one for someone starting out, one for someone who's already established and trying to make themselves bigger, and one for someone who's been on there for a while and is feeling the pinch, the burnout. Do you have any advice for them?
All right, yeah. So those who are starting streaming, I think it's awesome that you found streaming. However you came across it, I always like to, like, when people raid me, I always like to thank people for being part of the Twitch community, because each of us make it what it is, you know. And we are one person out of, you know, millions of people, or, you know, that are a part of this community, but we each bring a unique flair to it. So remember why you started, and I think enjoying the process, that affiliate grind, as people say, and I understand, I even use that terminology. I try to avoid it, because that is truly one of the most, like, exciting parts, especially when you connect with the community that's behind you and trying to support you on that journey. That is truly, like, seeing those numbers go up, because not everyone's guaranteed to get, no one's guaranteed numbers by all means.
Yeah.
Like, streaming to me is so much more than just turning on a camera and or not turning on a camera, but, you know, or being a VTuber or whatever the case may be, and just turning on a game. I think that's the most common, like, misconception about streaming. People expect success or growth when they don't put the effort and level of energy into it. And they'll sit there just prone, like, not saying a word and making it not inviting. I would say, but yeah, to a new streamer, and remember that that you came to streaming for some reason. It may or may not be for you. It's totally okay if it's not for you. But don't give up too early. Give it time, because I have a lot of friends who now, like I said, the people who haven't enjoyed that affiliate push, or were really stressed about it, getting those average views and the followers and whatnot, and didn't see the groundswell of support around them, then get really disappointed when their numbers drop right after affiliate. Because we're all pushing, we're all like, oh yeah, go follow this person, that person, so on and so forth. We all direct attention to these affiliate pushers, which is awesome, by the way. I don't discourage that. But I had that conversation in my 24-hour stream at depth about just the nature of that dynamic. But talk to your chat. And you may say, who's here? Talk as if the world is watching. Keep a constant conversation going. I think that's the biggest mistake I see new streamers make, is that they just sit there and wait for someone to come in and raid them, or they're waiting for things to happen.
Just playing their game, right? Just playing.
Yeah. And some people can be, like I said, I knew from the beginning I wasn't going to be a sweaty COD streamer, right? Or whatever the case may be. Some people think they will be, and that's awesome. I don't discredit them at all. So they're hyper focused on the game, but I would just say, remember that this is an interactive platform, and a lot of us are looking just for a conversation, to be fair. The people who are looking for top tier game performance are going to go to the top tier game performers who have an established brand, the Shrouds, the Ninjas, the whoever, you know. Ninjas a little bit, you know, not controversial, but just, you know, a little bit
toxic.
They're like, pretty toxic, and then
kind of
preying on people. Kind of preying on new streamers now with this whole, like, creator course that Ninja's doing and stuff, which is complete nonsense in my opinion. Trying to get money out of people, like, oh, become a great streamer in 5 steps and buy my class and stuff. I think there's value in learning from creators like that. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's very predatory to act like anyone can stream and to be successful. I truly do. If success means like growth and all these other things, if it just means having fun, stream to your heart's content. Stream to your heart's content. So that's my advice for new streamers: is talk to your chat. Don't get too discouraged. Believe in yourself and remember why you got into it. For the middle streamer, the streamer trying to grow, continue to be in yourself, but continue to evolve your content. That can be in the games you play. Maybe you play the same game, but try to freshen things up by doing different things on stream, having different topics. I think the question of the days and things like that, they're simple, but they really allow a platform for you to engage your chat and gives people an entry point, a jumping in point. Twitch just added an awesome feature. I highly recommend everybody check it out. That encourages. So there's a first time chatter introduction piece, right? But they just added the functionality where you can ask a question. Like you can say, hey, tell us your favorite game. And that's what or your first game. So to the question we were talking about first console, mine is tell me your first game that you ever played. Because even if you're not a gamer, even if you're just on Twitch for conversation, generally you've encountered a game. And maybe you'll say, I don't know. But I haven't. But trying to refresh your content so it's not the same conversation. The streams that I find stagnant are the streams that I come in and I watch Pink Ninja Bunny, right? And I say, hi, how are you, Pink Ninja Bunny? And I've already seen Pink Ninja Bunny in 5 streams today because we share, we share friends. And I don't mean that to be rude in any way. I care about how Pink Ninja Bunny's doing, right? But I think moving beyond just the superficial, going with emotions, I think is really important for your community, your growth, and building a chat that engages with one another is incredibly important. And to the long-time streamer that ultimately is feeling like they're stagnant, don't forget the impact you've had on others' lives, positive and maybe not as positive. The chats and interactions you have in life, not just streaming, but in life, can make a world of difference. That professor that I mentioned that really had an influence on me doing those international trips, something they always told me is, they may not remember what you teach in these programs when you go over there and teach these things, right, about speech writing or whatever, but they'll remember the way that you made them feel. And I think that is such a huge thing. So like we talked about with mental health, so many of us are just seeking a friend, so try to remember the impact that you're having on those, even if you feel like you've stagnated with your 5 viewers, those 5 viewers think it's important enough to spend time in your stream, whether lurking or chatting or whatever the case may be. So be appreciative, humble yourself to look and re-examine where you are and areas in which you can improve. Look to other streamers outside of your community. I think sometimes we stagnate in watching the same streams over and over and over and over again. Now, if you enjoy those people, like Mama Nerdy is a great person in the community, right? I love Mama Nerdy. I watch a lot of streams. Sometimes we stream at the same time, so I just have to lurk or whatnot to support. But I think you can become so ingrained in your little community that you don't see the big picture, right? So you're missing out on ideas and improvements and opportunities to meet new people and broaden your horizon and miss the chance for diversity in your community and bring that back. I think one of the topics that potentially we were going to discuss today is what surprises you most about your community or what like impresses you most about your community. For me, when we can have a productive discourse about a game, about a film, about a current event or things like that, and be respectful to one another and understand that we may not agree, but when people can come together and have that kind of discourse, it's truly one of the most rewarding streams that you can have. So sorry for running on so long.
No.
Those are
you had me hooked, mate. I was
sitting
there.
Yeah, me too. It's your show, so
yeah.
I've also thought on a question on the back of that, and it's quite a sensitive subject. So again, if you don't feel comfortable discussing, or you think it's going to be a bit too, just say no. But going on the back of your comment about stagnating in your own communities, something that does come up that I have to admit I personally wasn't prepared for is the subject of loyalty. Now, naturally, people do branch out and watch other streamers and will spend time with other people. What is your opinion on those, or advice for those who find it difficult to accept when viewers move around? Because obviously, as you say, to become a good streamer, you have to branch out. But you're going to upset people in the process.
I think the best advice that I learned when I was hopeful, Opus or whatever, I got to about 1,500 followers, right? But I stagnated about 30 average viewers or so at most. And sometimes I get to 40 or 50. I really thought I was on a path to partner, which is like an aspiration thing for me. Honestly, sustainable income is where I'm like, me personally, I care the most about. Like, partner is an awesome achievement, certainly, but you see partners that hit it and have those big partner push, like we just talked about the affiliate push, that hit it, and then their average views go back to 20 or 10 even. I have partners with 5 average viewers at the moment. It's not about that, but one of the things
So what is the mark for partner then? What is
75 average concurrent viewers?
75.
Yes.
Oh,
on
wow.
average over the month. So if you can't just get to 75 in, you have to have over the course of 28 days or 30 days, you have to average 75.
Yeah.
Oh, the average of 75.
Yeah, average, yeah.
And it's not like you can just have one really great stream where you got a big raid or anything and like you average, 80 viewers or anything. You have to also stream that month like 20 hours or something as well. So it's a balancing act. It's not like something you can just fudge. Yeah, absolutely. There's many different ways that people try to get there. Some go the Jackbox route, some go the marbles route, the giveaway route. And those things work if you want to stick with that, if that's who you want to be as a streamer for a long time. But the piece of loyalty, I really struggle. I support creators that I care about and I think are enjoyable for me to watch. Support for support fails in a lot of ways because I think it leads to stagnation. And again, there's only so much bandwidth.
Sorry, we're not laughing at you. Dazarus, UK Dazarus has put a comment in the chat that's just made Finn and I laugh.
Oh yeah, no worries.
So sorry, I noticed you hesitate. I was like, we're not laughing at you, and I didn't want you to feel like we were. It's just stupid. Please carry on.
No, I was just gonna say that that the piece about loyalty, you have to build your own community. I can't rely on being part of Pink Ninja Bunny's community to improve my streams. I have to be unique as a content creator and want people to come back and watch me. And I think that's something that I've always been able to do well. Now, what's difficult is that I previously felt like this, don't so much feel like this anymore, but people will take the piss out of you, just to say it lightly, about self-promoting and stuff if you allow it, because I'm a very community-focused person. I check everyone out. Not everyone, but a lot of people that actually have an engaging chat with me, I check them out, and when I try to do shout outs and things for people, I try to make it specialized to them. I'll be like, oh, Pink Ninja Bunny is really awesome. She plays Pokemon, she plays Mario Kart, she plays X and Y. So I try to be very informed about the community. So that others could then check them out. But I used to feel like the middleman because I was this person that connected communities, because I personally made an effort to be part of multiple communities and not just be part of Fleety Stakes community, right? Or Vin's community. I would try to be part of multiple communities. So then I would bring people back in. So then they would go back and follow everyone else. And then you would see people branch out or whatever, or kind of come in, use it. What felt like them using me as a platform to gain followers. The comments I hate the most, truly, it's one thing if I'm like, hey, this person's going for affiliate. Would you consider checking them out? Would you consider giving them a follow or whatever to help? That's one thing to say, hey, I followed you. The people that come into the stream and say, I followed every one of you. I hate that. I absolutely hate that, because it's simply a follow for follow mechanism. There's no genuine, effort or intention there. But the struggle I've had is, not that I'm worried about somebody coming back to my stream or not coming back to my stream. Ultimately, we all we're adults. We should all be adults for the most part, or teenagers in some cases, based on the community on Twitch. But you have to have a unique selling point to yourself. You can't just rely on being. And I think that sometimes creators become really complacent with that, and that's when the loyalty piece comes in, because eventually there's gonna be two people in that same community, like in Pink Ninja Bunny stream, right? Eventually, maybe my schedule changes and I have to stream the same time as Pink Ninja Bunny. Then I feel like I'm competing against Pink Ninja Bunny if I look at it that way. If I'm like, that's where my viewer base is Pink Ninja Bunnies. You have to have a variety of people that want to come see you. And if they don't want to come see you, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So I think you really have to get away from this competition mindset, or looking at your view count. That's something that like personally doesn't work for me. Some people it works really well for. Don't get me wrong. But that's like another piece of advice for me. I found that I stream much better. Again, like I'm streaming to the world. Like there's 1,000 people watching me, even if there's 20. Right. So, so to the loyalty piece, I think that it's easy to become paranoid as a streamer, because streaming is a really difficult platform because of you are the product. You are the product, right?
Yeah.
So it can feel very personal when somebody doesn't come by your stream anymore, or when they go watch somebody else, and maybe that you helped connect them to another person. But the way I look at it is, I have to be good enough on my own to justify someone spending time with me, and in a stream. So that's the onus comes back on yourself, and I think that's the healthiest way to look at it, to not compare yourself. And it's awesome if you've connected people to places they'd rather be. That's great. You were a part of making their day better, and I think that's a healthier way to look at that connection piece.
I think that's a great way of looking at it, because it's not necessarily that they prefer you or you're not good enough. It's just so happens that you've connected people who are better suited, or their timelines line up better than you and theirs. So yeah, taking that personal step away from it is very, very good.
I think you got the same mindset as me, mate. I've been streaming for over 2 years, and I've never worried about view count, never worried about followers. I think the guys that are obviously here as well can vouch for that. All I care about, my best streams that I've ever had is about people interacting, having a chat, having a laugh. I don't care what's on the content. I don't care what game I'm playing. It's all about having a laugh, and even if they're mocking me, I don't mind that. I'm happy for that. If people want to insult me, I love that. As long as
like watching your Pokemon streams.
But as long as we're interacting, as long as we're bouncing off each other. And I think that's exactly. But that's a great example of it. That's a great example. But that's where we have the same mindset, Polar. I think too many people are worried about, I want to make money. Too many people think, I've only got 1 or 2. Don't look at the 1 or 2. Look at the quality that you're getting from the 1 or 2. Are they engaged with you all the time? Are you having a decent conversation with them? But the followers that will come do. If your 1 or 2 are loyal to you and you're doing good with them and you're interacting, other people are going to join in that conversation, and that's where you got to grow from there. I completely concur. So I'm just reiterating the point that Polar made, guys, is if you are new at streaming, if you got the reasons that you want to make money for it and that's all you really care about, I don't think it may maybe that you're good at what you do and you may do it, fair play, but that's not really the way to go about it. People, and I think especially nowadays, a lot of people can see that you just want the money, and if they feel that that's all you want, they're not going to hang around.
No. Yeah, and I think that there's just a level of authenticity that people have, and that you can kind of see through that a lot of the times. I'm very appreciative when people want to financially help the stream. Like I said, but I try not to leverage that as a thing. It's an option. It's there, but it's certainly not anything that I try to push. And like you said, an engaging chat is so much more important to me than if I had 1,000 viewers and no one chatting. That's a big trade-off there. And being able to keep up with the chat is something that, as you can continue to grow, I'm starting to get to a point where if I'm hit like a 30, 40, 50 viewer count, if chat's really going or after a raid, sometimes I miss a message, and I don't intentionally do that. But it's just the reality of it. I prefer not to go in slow mode because of that's just my personal preference to allow people to chat. Because I know that I'm the typer that goes too fast for slow mode. So I'm like, oh, it's so stupid. My message
why can't I send this?
But the loyalty piece, I think the people that are getting jealous about other people's views, or like X person watching Y, I think you have to realize that ultimately you can control what's within your control. You can't control people. You can never control people. You can control your actions. You control the persona, the presence that you provide, but you can't control people. And that's a very important lesson to learn in life in general.
But you don't want to do that anyway.
Yeah, it's not a healthy practice. And the people who guilt people about not coming to their streams, those people can flub off. I have nothing. Clearly, I don't like. Those people can flub off, and the emotional manipulators that are like, "Oh, haven't been." If I notice somebody hasn't been in a while, I'll be like, "Hey, it's great to see you. It's been a little while since we chatted." I try not to make it about you since you came to my stream. It's like, "Hey, how you doing? I really care. Like, I'd like to catch up."
Yeah, has everything been okay?
It's not a mechanism to be like, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't come here," or if you leave my stream while I'm streaming and you go watch this person, then so on and so forth. I think those people that try to create a toxic, codependent relationship are miserable people and streamers.
Yeah, I agree.
Excellent, lovely. I love this. Has anybody got anything else that they want to ask? Finn?
Yeah,
question?
Please. I like to ask a question because I think you said it on the show, not before the show, I hope, but that project you're working on.
The project regarding podcasting, is that what you're talking about? Yeah. So thank you for asking.
Would you like to tell something more about it? How far are you in the process of starting it, or?
Yeah, so I've got several. I've got kind of a whiteboard or like a kind of a map out, like a kind of an idea board or a brainstorming board, with different topics and ideas. I generally think short form content, like less than 10 minutes, is probably my approach, not like a long in depth type of thing. I would like it to be gaming focused, but sharing some opinions on trends in the industry. Topics like at what point does your moral compass shift the way that you play games or the games that you play? Like the Activision Blizzard thing is a really popular thing. Do you boycott them? Do you see Bobby Kotick as someone that was so detrimental to the organization that you don't want any part of it? You don't want to watch or play an Activision Blizzard game, Overwatch or Diablo, or their monetary practices with Diablo Immortal, which is really a popular topic right now with the microtransactions.
But that's a phone game, right?
Yeah, that's the mobile game that they put out that they make millions on, like $1 million a day on, and
you have to. Was it like you have to pay $80,000, I think, to unlock everything?
I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard numbers from that to like up to like hundreds of thousands, depending on the rarity and like the chances in which the events and stuff. But topics like that, it's absolutely insane. But they say they're not doing that with Diablo 4. But at what point does a company become so toxic that you no longer play their games, right? Because Bobby Kotick maybe not the best person, right? Or not seen in the best light because of the harassment, abuse, and all these other things that happen under his watch and the business practices, right? But at what point do you? It's so difficult to live a moral life in any way, right? Have you ever had clothes that could have been made in a country that didn't support fair wages and a fair work environment?
You know what?
The thing is, I'm going to read your podcast because I could talk about this for ages. Because
but you know what? One thing about that problem is, I agree with you about the Bobby Kotick thing, right? I agree with you on that. It's that type of people need to get rid of, in each company. But it's not like I am a person. I won't ban a company's products because of one person, because there's also like 5,000 people.
Yeah,
working for their families on contract. I say that
on salary or on payment from them. Yeah,
on payment.
Well, that person
they need to support their families.
Subject
to
abuse.
And
they
then
still worked and done the job on that game that you're playing.
They make shit. Don't get me wrong, they make shit games for me. But if it's not like I won't support a company because one person is a douchebag. Is that a decent word? Douchebag.
Yes, what?
So that's I agree with Ben. Like, so my personal take, just to shed a little bit of insight, is that I agree with Ben that ultimately the actions of one person, while they may shape the influence or the can stain the organization, there are so many people behind games and game development that I would also personally don't feel it's best to make some moral high stand, because I also realize gaming is my form of entertainment. I realize there's so many people behind it. I realize in other forms of my life, I'm drinking a water bottle. Should I be drinking a water bottle? No, from sustainability purposes, right? I can recycle it. I can do so on and so forth. But do I live a morally correct life all the time? To be honest, no. I'd love to say I did.
But at what point?
Right. So I try to make informed decisions on some things, but I do things out of convenience too. So again, not trying to make myself the villain of the water bottle, but I also understand. But just being really realistic and transparent. And trying to tie in topics like that into sharing an opinion piece on why I feel the way I do, but also, allowing a platform for others to share how they feel about things. So that's kind of the idea for the podcast. But that's one of the bigger episodes that I think.
So, and how far are you in the process now of?
So I've got kind of rough drafts of topics, like bullet points. I'm not a big script person. I don't really like watching people read off a script on video. Some people do it better than others, like off a teleprompter or just a scrolling screen or whatnot. But I've kind of got bullet points and things like that, but I haven't started filming yet. So it would likely be like a video series on YouTube. And then hopefully if we're to continue to share that on other platforms as well.
Amazing.
So your YouTube channel is the same name as the
it's P0larVortex. Thank you for asking, Ben. Yeah, there's actually a P0larVortex TTV, which I didn't realize. They're like they're so very similar name. I've never actually interacted with them. I want to be like, hey, get off my lawn, man. But I think they created their account before me. But anyways, but yeah, it's just P0larVortex. It's like P0LAR Vortex. If you search on YouTube, I've got like 19 subscribers right now. It's just clips, like funny clips from gameplay and stuff. But
so it's a link on your Twitch.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, then I will use it from there then. That's easier than
Okay.
getting the wrong one. The
Yeah.
competitor name.
Yeah. That other guy, don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. They're a poser. I'm just kidding.
Imposter.
Yeah,
So-
imposter polar.
So, guys, we're approaching the end of the podcast. We are, unfortunately. I've really enjoyed this so far.
It's been incredible, by the way. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for this.
But we only have so much time, unfortunately. We did agree that the podcast would be a maximum of 2 hours, so we are approaching the end. But that's how engaging you are, Polar. We literally have loved it, mate.
I enjoyed talking with you all. Thank you.
Loved it. So, guys, this is going to be the quick fire questions. Has anyone thought of new questions before we ask Polar?
No.
Oh God!
Come on, Pig Ninja Bunny.
Come on, guys.
Don't put me on the spot. I panic. You know this.
So basically, it's going to be yes/no questions, mate. It's going to be really easy for you. So we got some that we done for Taylor, and they will be repeated because these guys haven't come up with new ones. Although Vin had a great one earlier. Vin did a great one earlier. So the Ford or Chevy, that type of question.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's what we're looking for. So anybody in chat, guys, that want a quick fire question for Polar, please ask it in chat, and we'll get one of the guys to do it. Okay.
And just
Polar,
as a heads
are
up,
you ready
everyone.
for this? This is
Yes,
this is
I'm
spare
ready.
the moment, mate. Vin's ready.
Whew. Right.
Okay, so I
Ladies,
think,
the link I put into the chat is Papa Polar's YouTube channel, so I have shared it with everyone.
Yeah, no problems. We'll
Thank you,
be
Pink.
over Discord and everything at the
Always.
end of this, so don't worry about this, guys. So, right. Thank you, Taylor. We got some questions. Okay, guys, ask your questions first. Let chat put some questions in afterwards. So ask your questions first, and then we'll go to chat. All right. So who started off last episode? Who was first in the?
No, the first question is mine anyway. So
Is
I
it
was gonna
yours?
say, I
It's
think
your
it was
turn,
me
Vin,
last
is it?
time.
Okay, Vin, you're starting off. Right. Polar, are you ready?
Yes.
Vin, are you
Pineapple.
ready?
yeah, I'm ready.
Pinky, you ready?
I'm ready.
Is your brain engaged? Right.
No.
Vin, go for it.
Whatever.
Go for it.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
What? We're done. I'm done.
Pinky,
Tea or
let's go.
coffee?
Sweet tea.
Ooh.
Okay.
Vin.
Football or soccer?
There's
What's
only
the,
true
the
football.
sorry? What's the correct word for kicking a
honestly-
round ball with your feet?
I would say football, but I would spell it like the Spanish spelling, like FUTBOL. Like
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Pinky.
Sweet or savory?
Savory.
Sega or Nintendo?
Nintendo.
Okay, on the back of that, Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox, I would say.
Yes.
You redeemed yourself there. Vin.
Morning bird or night owl?
Morning. For sure.
Spring or summer?
Spring.
S or tits?
Hey, love it.
Both. No.
Both. Yeah, no, that's valid. That's valid.
That's the best answer.
That is valid. Pinky, let's go.
Okay. Chocolate or candy?
Chocolate. Or no, candy. Yep.
Vin.
Ooh.
He's looking in chat now. He's like, I ain't got any. Give me.
No, I've done mine. So I'm ready
Okay.
for the chat now.
Okay, COD or PUBG?
COD.
Pinky.
Hot tub stream or no?
1000% yes.
Yes.
Do you
I'd
reckon,
so pay for that.
do you reckon we can get Jason Statham and all three of us sit in a hot tub? Do you reckon people would notice the difference?
I don't think so.
Well,
Love it.
one is shorter than the other two.
So, guys, we're gonna wrap up here. So, Pilot, the one thing obviously to wrap up is I would just like you to give all your socials out, mate, so that everyone knows where they are. We'll obviously put them in the Discord afterwards, and obviously this will be uploaded to YouTube and all that, blah blah blah. But if you could let the guys know where to find you, that's perfect.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So twitch.tv/PolarVortex, P0LAR Vortex. It's actually a winter storm. That's how it came up with my name. So Polar Vortex, and then we had one this past year. I was like, oh yeah, when we started, yeah, that's awesome. So Polar Vortex TV on Instagram, and then on Twitter, I believe it is also just Polar Vortex. It is also just Polar Vortex on the Twitters. But if you come to my Twitch and do !mark socials, you can see them all. But ultimately, just really grateful for the opportunity today. Thank you all so much.
No worries. We'll
So
share
the-
the socials in our Discords
Absolutely.
as well. So anyone who's missed it on stream, we will be able to share it afterwards as well.
So, guys,
Thank
the
you
one
all.
thing I'm going to say, if you're not following P0lar Vortex already, get involved. It's not all about the follows. Get involved. Chat to him. Get to know him some more. If there's some questions we've missed out, go to his stream. Ask him. That's the main person. You want to engage? This is what you do. This is the man. You got questions? Ask away. He's always here to answer them, guys. So, Matt, thank you so much, pal. I really do appreciate you being here.
Yes.
It's been
Appreciate
amazing
you all.
talking to you.
Yeah, thank
Especially
you.
at last minute. That is the most humbling
Yeah.
thing, mate. So really genuinely do appreciate it. So chat, thank you for being very active. Thank you very much, guys. Love you all for being here.
It's so
and
grateful.
Just going to name
Yeah,
drop.
thank
So
you all.
next week, guys, we've got Red Dungeon. It's going to be around about the same time. We just need to confirm that. So we've got Red Dungeon. We do have a lineup all throughout August and September, guys.
Mhm.
So if you're not busy on a Sunday evening, do drop in. And again, Matt, thank you so much, Matt. I really, honestly, really
Yes.
enjoyed that, mate.
Mm.
Absolutely
Yeah, thank
fantastic
you all.
guy.
Thank you
Appreciate
so,
it.
so much.
Yes.
We will obviously talk again, of course, because I'll definitely
Yeah.
be in your stream and I will be in someone else's, I'm sure. But yeah, thank you. It's such a nice guy, mate. Really, really enjoyed talking
And
to you.
I hope the podcast works out great on YouTube. I just followed,
Yeah.
so
Thank you, Vin. I appreciate that.
Once
Let
it's
us know,
live,
keep
mate,
us
let us know.
updated.
Absolutely,
it
absolutely.
was
And-
great meeting you. So I'm happy.
Yeah, great meeting you as well, Vin.
And
I'm
just
so
a
glad your
final-
computer didn't restart after all.
just a final goodbye, guys. Just want to say thank you to Pink Ninja Bunny and to Hertel Vin.
Thank God.
Both the streamers as well, guys. So if you're not following them, please drop them a follow as well and say hello to them if you get a chance. But guys, thank you so much. It's been absolutely incredible. So we're going to say goodbye now. So bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Adios, guys. Thank you very much.
Love you all.
Take care.
Love, love.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.